How's it going, everybody? My name is Ryan45678, and this is part 2 of my Romanian Underfolder MD65 parts kit build. This is actually technically the start of the build, and we're going to be riveting the front trunnion. And this is probably going to be the longest video you've ever seen on riveting a front trunnion, but I like to keep things in the video, like mistakes, and I do make a lot of mistakes, and I ran into quite a few issues, some related to tooling, some related to my own mistakes, but we get it done. Enjoy. Alright, so here's the setup for the drilling the rivet holes for the trunnion, front trunnion. I've got the jig. You basically tighten it down with the spacer to get it flush with the receiver on. Then what you do is you take it off, take the receiver off, set the hole, which I've done, and then slide the receiver back on, which this vise is not clamped because I don't have the screws for it. Anyway, sorry about that angle. I needed to push that on. It needs to go a tiny bit more. I needed to push that on without moving the vise, because even though it's like 20 or 30 pounds, it can shift. This vise is also really tall, so I had to put the drill bit in with clamped onto part of the cutting end, which I don't like, but here we go. This is a 5/16 bit, by the way. Hole number 2. Not bad. So to go the other way, it was like this. We'll flip it around. I already loosened this guy, so it's already loose. I don't have much room the way I have it clamped, but we'll slide it back on. The receiver will be going the other direction. Slide it on. Use the, sorry for moving the camera around. Use the alignment block to get it flat. Flat right here. And then you may want to hold it while you tighten it. But slide that back off. We're good to align the holes. So actually, one thing I'm noticing is that this block is not perfectly the right height, because you can see it's got some wiggle room. Okay, ignore what I said. There were tiny little metal shavings in there. Now it sits flat. So one more thing I did on the first set was there's a little set screw right here that I think is for the rear trunnion. It was screwed all the way in, which gave like a fraction of an inch of travel that the receiver didn't get to make. And so the first set of holes are not lined up perfectly. If it'll focus. See, you can see the trunnion through there. It's all the way back. I'm gonna probably just go through the file on the right side. The other side looks okay because I did that after. Either way, they may need to be filed or reamed or drilled out a little bit to make sure the rivet actually goes through. I think 5/16 is slightly under for that reason. And so that should be pretty easy to fix. So I'm just gonna go back through all these holes. I got it lined up with the trunnion again. I'm just gonna redo it with it properly seated on the receiver. So I would recommend not doing what I just did, unless you have your thing clamped down. I think it moved, and I managed to accidentally drill into the trunnion a little bit, like a dum-dum. What I ended up doing that I think was better was seat the trunnion, hold it firm, and then take, well, this is, I mean, it's dangerous, so officially don't do this, but turn it on, stick this up there, let it sort of not ream out the hole per se, but clean it up to where if you're worried about it not lining up, then I don't know, maybe don't do this if your trunnion looks like it's not lined up with a hole. You don't want to drill your trunnion, it should go in easy. All of what I just said is probably pointless, so don't do that. So in the end, I ended up kind of taking just the receiver, dragging it around the drill bit to kind of egg out some of the holes where it didn't line up. You can kind of see the light through and see where there's some material that needs to be taken out. There should be none left, if any. And I think I will need to take a slightly larger drill bit to ream these out to size, because the rivet doesn't quite fit yet. But they're lined up for the most part. So moving on to the rear trunnion, similar concept, different drill bit size. But I've run into a problem, a slight issue. I'm trying to get the rear trunnion on, and then I look at it, and what do you know? The rail is squished. So let's undo that first. This is also a pretty bad demill, but I'm not going to worry about it. I think it's fine. And I did just check where the recoil spring goes. That fortunately does fit. It looks a little buggered up too, but apparently not bad enough for it not to fit. Well, thankfully, the rear trunnion rivet holes are already drilled. I don't have to worry about that. But I tried to unbend that stupid thing. A file was too big. It would have made the rail too big. So I had to use a small cutoff wheel on my Dremel. That worked. I still had to tap it in with the rubber mallet, so I'm not going to take it out again. But anyway, it's in there pretty good. It's fairly well lined up. I'm sure some of that will change once it's riveted, but overall, pretty good. The only thing is that it's possible I might have to do some file work or something, because this is not quite lined up perfectly. And this side is lined up a little better. We'll see. All right, it's time to rivet the front trunnion. And I think I will be taking the rear trunnion out. I know I said I wouldn't. And riveting it later after we do all the barrel stuff, because one of the things I may need to do is, if I need to press the barrel out any, one of two things. I could use a scrap barrel all the way through here, which would require this to be gone, or I use a scrap barrel and a flat piece going through here. So we'll see. But I think I will wait to rivet this. I don't even have a rivet jig for this. I will have to either make something or buy it. But I'll leave it there for now. It's not going anywhere. But anyway, for the front trunnion, I'm going to take my best hole, which is this one. That's very tight. These others, I had to egg them out. I would be afraid if I riveted one of those first, it would set it in a position that's not exactly where it needs to be. So let's do that one first. So you may not see much happening because it's such a small incremental thing and it's not much that has to go. But I'm gonna try get this set properly like that. And at least get it started, like squeezing, and then I'll check. Okay, there we go. It's set onto it. And just look really quick and make sure. Yep. As far as I can tell, I mean, you can't, it's hard to see it, but it looks good to me. So let's it's gonna be a little bit tricky. I think I need to face it this way so that the rivet head, possibly this way, so the rivet can't fall back out and get squished too early, because it needs to be pushed against this all the way. And so let's give it a squeeze. I don't know if that's, I don't know how far is too much. Let's see what that did. Yeah, it did squeeze. I think I got it off center a little bit, so that's why I stopped. Otherwise I would have gone all the way. A little bit more. Now that it's set, it shouldn't be too, shouldn't be as difficult. It looks good so far though. It's a nice rivet head. This is a little bit annoying. It's a little cocked, but maybe I got these jaws backwards. I don't know. I'm not liking this angle that it's at right now. I should have done the smart thing first and put this in a vise. I'm a dum-dum. Let's see if we can get this squeeze zone straight this time. There we go. Hopefully I didn't bend the receiver. Okay. That doesn't feel, I mean, that is straight now. It doesn't feel totally squished. Maybe I need to do it again, because I think if I put the barrel in here, it's gonna interfere. That's as far as it goes. I wonder if that might be an issue. So, before the barrel would slide in, okay, that stops on the rivet. Yeah, that is unfortunate, and I don't know why. I don't know why, unless I put it together wrong. So, as it turns out, buy the TothTool, don't buy the Requiem. There's some weirdness going on with that. I looked up some forum posts to see if anybody else had the issue, and sure enough, the jaws don't align. For example, this piece on the Requiem, when it was closed this much, was at a very harsh angle. And it was lined up like here with like halfway off where the rivet head would be. So even if it had gone all the way, it would have crushed it crooked. So buy the TothTool, don't buy the Requiem. I want to say that one of the posts was saying that was the guy that used to own Requiem, maybe. It sounded like he was saying that was his company. They shut down 3 years ago. This was a post from 2020. And someone was selling their tools with their pattern, or maybe a copy of the pattern. I'm not sure. Something weird was going on. But anyway, yeah, don't buy those. Don't waste the money. They don't work. I will try to crush this rivet correctly with the TothTool this time. I may end up drilling it out and redoing it because it did such a bad job. It was crooked and it kind of squished out on the head some. Just because I've tried to do it so many times. I did mess with the adjustment on these, so I don't know where this will be adjusted to. But anyway, yeah, much better. That should be a fully formed rivet on the inside. Okay, theoretically, if the barrel needs to go some more, which it feels like it does, Yeah, it still hits on the rivet. I need to adjust the jaws a little bit. But I think I will redo that rivet because it doesn't look good. See how badly that squished out? And you may or may not be able to see on this side, but it's kind of crooked. Well, I'd say that went perfectly. I heard the last little part of the rivet pop off. Didn't quite pop off, and I should be able to punch that out now and redo the rivet properly this time. Let me drill some more through that. Forgot how hard these are to get out. Try that. I really don't want to drill through the trunnion by accident. So. No, I did not drill through anything. There we go. Get this punch out. I think I mushroomed the punch. Or actually, the rivet is stuck on the punch, so that's a different problem. But it's fairly clean, if I do say so myself. Ready for another rivet. And we have success. The barrel goes past the rivet just fine. And I don't know, I didn't test it every single time, so I could have been doing a little too much, but it looked like the top of the, see if this was the back of the rivet inside the trunnion right here, it looked like the top is sticking out a little more. So I kind of turned the bolt cutters that way to try to get it, because it seemed like it contacted the back of the rivet here, but a little bit was sticking out, so it was kind of a little bit like that. And who knows, I could have put the barrel through and it would have been fine, but just to be safe, I squished it more and it's good. So let's do them all. Yeah, it's hitting on that a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna do it a couple more times. Perfect. Slides past. May not be able to see that rivet, but it's in there. Yeah, you can see that just fine. Perfect. I think it really does just take a little bit of extra effort to kind of go around all the sides, because I mean, it's limited space to work with the jaws, and they're not super precise anyway, except the way they clamp together. It's great. But as far as where exactly it's on the rivet it squishes, you don't really get too much of a choice in that. So yeah, going back and forth a few more times, up, down, side to side a little bit, and that seems to do it. And I did adjust these, but if I were to go any further, it would start to have the same problem as the Requiem jaws, where let's say they were lined up like this, the one would start to kind of curve in like that, like that, versus tightening it anymore, they would start to be off kilter. So that's a no-go on that, but it's plenty enough to squish it like this. Now, one quick thing to note is that there is plenty of room to do both the front and back front trunnion rivets, more than enough actually. The way as is with the original Harbor Freight crossbar pieces, whatever you call those. The TothTool ones, which I did get, they have notches in the front. Hopefully you can see that. And then notches on this part right here. And I wasn't able to install them because it came with new screws, because these ones are built into the back plate, and the nut is not the same thread as the new screw. So I need to go find a nut, because it didn't come with a nut. I don't know if it was supposed to, but I gotta find a nut. But for now, I don't have any rear trunnions to rivet with these. No short rivets. So this will work just fine. We'll go ahead and do the rear rivet on the side. And this one I won't be able to know just by feel. That's a little close to me, but because the barrel won't go in that far until I press it, so I am not going to be sure. But I don't know. I think it's okay. It feels flat to me. I'll do it a few more times just to be absolutely sure, because the other ones were able to get flush past the actual part where the barrel goes, barrel journal. So I'm gonna do that. And if anything, that should do it. And yeah, I believe so. That feels just right. Yeah, I feel it underneath. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing, but I feel the bottom part of the barrel here, the rivet up here is below that, so it's fine. And it feels good the rest of the way. So yeah, we're good there. So we're just gonna do the last one. Do the same thing. These rivets look pretty darn good. And I like this tool because although the AK Builder jig would be much better, per se, better quality rivets. Why is this not? Oh, the rivet's too long. Yeah, but much better quality, theoretically. Let me actually get you guys above that so you can see what's going on, because you can see it from above there. Okay, that's a little bit awkward of an angle, but it lets you see exactly what's going on here. Just slide in, because before I couldn't really see too well how straight I was being. All right, we'll go ahead and do it. See, I didn't even see that because I'm way over here holding these handles. All right, let's check that. That is a good rivet, I do believe. Ooh, I did squish these out quite a bit. Oh no, I freaking smushed that first one. I'm an idiot. What did I do? Oh no. How did that happen? Oh no, am I gonna have to drill that one out too? Or can I fix it? Because that's pretty bad. No. Oh my goodness, I don't know how I did that, but I did it. Oh. And there we go. I did mess this up. I should have kept the first rivet that I did, because I squished it out the side a little bit, and I ended up doing the same thing with this one, because for some reason that particular location, it's really hard to squish to where the barrel doesn't interfere, or where it doesn't interfere with the barrel. Let me show you. So sorry. Barrel goes in just fine now, but before I would do that and it wouldn't. So there you go. Sorry, I forgot to also say the reason it looks rounded and there's a bunch of punch marks is because I fixed it with a punch, and there's almost no way to do that without making punch marks. And this is a beat up kit that I think I plan on distressing the receiver to match, because it's kind of silly to have really worn looking parts on a brand new receiver. It look kind of weird. Hello, Ryan from the future here. No, I did not end up distressing the receiver. And yes, I know I'm missing a rivet on both sides of the bottom. That will be addressed later, but stay tuned for part 3, where we populate the barrel and set headspace.